Welcome back to day 2 of my It's a Troll 4-Foot Snake tournament recap. If you haven't seen day 1, you can go and look at that video. I'll link it under this one. You might want to, if you don't care about the first 3 games, well, why would you? You can watch the beginning bit, which tells you about the tournament and the special characters and the rules and the scoring. I'm not going to go over it again because I'm too lazy. So game 4, I've won my first 3 games. Game 4 is against Elliot Morrish, who is an extremely good player, and I was concerned about this. I have played him a number of times before, and he's always helped me win. To beat Frank, it's something a running joke with us that he always tells me how to beat him, because we're generally playing demonstration games and such. So he is playing Varangur, using his Twilight King models because he was too much of a coward to bring Twilight King, something like that. So I think his list is excellent and pretty much does what my list does, but better. So that's interesting. So he's got a regiment of Draugr, who are basically objective token holder type people. Horde of the Fallen, of course, with Brew of Strength, because why not? A horde of Snow Trolls with Chalice of Wrath, who are basically like cheaper Fallen with a slightly exactly the same nerf. Slower, of course. I don't know what I'm talking about. 2 regiments of Mounted Sons of Korgan with Sharpness and Elite, both of which have been upgraded with Stealthy, which is pointless for this game. 2 regiments of Snow Foxes, Magus with a Boomstick on a horse. 2 Lords on Frostfang, one with Flashing, one with Crushing, who are basically mini dragons, which is nice. And Magnilda the Fallen, who is a very powerful hero who has that once per game fly move, which is kind of cool. And he's taken Valkyrie Jan, Mother of Dragons. So Jan is his hero, the flying one. There's Elliot. Look, all COVID masked up, as was I. So this is how we deployed the terrain. So once again, I was conscious. So scenario, we were playing Salt the Earth, which is pillage, so objective tokens that you can destroy from turn 1, should you desire. I put houses in the middle again because I like the idea of crushing people between houses. It makes me happy. So there's houses here and here, and then we just have a variety of difficult terrain because I've got more Pathfinder than he is, as in 1 unit, and I wanted him to be hindered on these bits of terrain. Alright, so we've got difficult here, wall, hill, forest, and 2 houses, right? And then we deployed the tokens, and we deployed them all on the right-hand side of the board, literally. So I think I was deploying the tokens standing on that side, right? But then Elliot won sides, and he chose that side, which is better because there's more hills to charge off. Right, that's why he chose it. But I put tokens behind a house, behind the forest, and back here, I think, or something like that. He might put that one on the side. There's the one in the middle that you can't burn. I put this one behind a house, and then he put one on the hill and one here. I forgot to put one behind this forest, which is what I meant to do. Instead, I think we went somewhere else anyway. So you'll notice basically this part of the board is useless. There's nothing there. Often in these games there's a lot of burning going on, and it comes down to this center token. So that's relevant when we look at deployments. So once again, I wanted Elliot to put as much as possible to the left of these houses because he's going to be coming through here and I can block him up. And lo and behold, he went above and beyond my expectations, which is great. So he's got over here, these are his Fallen, these are his Trolls, he's got his Boomstick Wizard, he's got one of the Lords on Frostfang, that's Magnilda, and that's one of his Snow Foxes. So a large portion of his army is over there. I've deployed in, exactly the same as normal. So here's my central block. I put 1 Gargoyles here, and then I've got, you can't quite see them here, but you see them in a minute, both horses and the Gargoyles over here. Okay. So then on this side, he's got, I'll show you actually. So that's what I've just shown you twice. And over here, he's got, I can't remember which one is Elite. I think this one is Elite, and this one is Sharpness. That's his other Lord. That's the other Snow Foxes. There's his Draugr, and there's Jan on the right-hand side. So against that, that's my, I've just shown you, melee block, and on the left-hand side. So I've got my demon right on the left. There's my sharpness horses. There's my pathfinder horses. And there's my, she's fallen over, crone. Here we go. Gargoyles in the middle. So I think I'm going to be able to do alright with this. I win the first turn, which is very important because it allows me to put threats straight away. And I push forwards. We've got 2 elite hammer armies. It's going to be who can chaff off and then punch the hardest. That's going to be what wins this, right? So I've pushed forward and I've offered gargoyles. Put a little crone behind them. I've said, charge away, do what you like, don't care. Everything else is out of the charge range of all this stuff here. Okay. So once I've got my pathfinder horses ready to charge into terrain, sharpness horses just peeping over the hill here so we can see. Can't see past the gargoyles, but if the gargoyles move. I've got my demon. So I think Jan can charge the demon at this point. But I'm like, go on then. And everything else is pushed forward. I've left my gargoyles behind the house because I don't want them to be lightning bolted off. Which he proceeds to try to do constantly. So, Elliot's turn 1. I've made a mistake. So, this is... I've just not played against flyers very often. And I should be better than this, but there you go, I'm not. What I've allowed him to do... So, if you imagine the line of sight for my demon comes like this, right? He's able to put Jan into the flank and nothing can see her. If I'd have just turned the demon a little bit more, that wouldn't have been feasible. So that was silly. But there you go. So Jan's come down. And everything else is just... Oh, they've backed off. They've backed off. He doesn't want the Draugr to be taken out. And everything else. So he's moved his chaff slightly forward and he's backed everything else off like this. Okay. And then he's moved all of his stuff here to come down. And he wants to sit on that token for the rest of the game. Turn 2. Look, a token. I mean, turn dice. I think I've got more than a normal number of turn dice in this game, which is very exciting. So I, foolishly or not, decide to start blocking him up immediately. If you look at where he is here, let's go back a bit, right. So all this stuff comes to here. So he's got snow trolls here, fallen here, dude here. Dark Lord Dan is within charge range. And I want to keep him back as long as possible. Dan's not been much use, sorry Dan, hitting wise. I've never managed to get any unit strength on him for brutal, and I've got dread anyway, which doesn't stack. So I'm like, do you know what? You can be chaff. So we chaff Dan. He's actually, he wouldn't stand on the hill. He's actually here, which means he's going to get flanked here, which I didn't think about or care about. And then I decide to play Silly Buggers with my chaff. So obviously Jan being here is a problem. So I move my demon up like that. So it's a front for Jan and nothing else can reach him. Specifically, this unit of horsemen, if it turns, is not going to be able to charge him. Right? I looked and measured it. Basically, they would run down here and not be able to charge him in the flank. So I'm quite comfortable with that. Plus, his line of sight now blocks everything for Jan. She can, of course, just fly down here and face the rear next turn, but we'll deal with that later. And then I've arranged my troops in a nice wave. I've shoved the gargoyles all the way forwards to say, go on then. Go on then, have a go if you think you're hard enough. And obviously, if anything charges into those gargoyles, you're going to get punched pretty hard. I then moved my butchers up here, so they are covered by the wall, so it's going to be a hindered charge. And then that's real. Yep, okay, still there, that's nice. And then, so, I'm just showing you, wow, I was really taking a lot of pictures. So there we go, so Elliot's turn 2. He obviously takes the charge, so both the Fallen and the Trolls could see Dark Lord Dan. He's not going to last long, is he? So flank from the Fallen, which actually, I mean, it's powerful, obviously. You're not guaranteed to kill him from the front because he's got such high defense. But what this is going to mean is that the reform will create a bottleneck because the Trolls will be stuck behind the Fallen. He then sends his little mini dragon, the Lord and Frostfang, into my butchers right here. Okay. Oh, it's worth noting on turn 1, he does try and lightning bolt my gargoyles with his horse lady who's sitting on the hill there. You can see them just there. Does none. No damage. So, yep, so he goes in there. You can see the charge ranges, the charge arc. So what he does is the sort of thing that I would do, frankly. So, as predicted, Jan comes around the rear. I tried to fireball on turn 1 with the demon. Failed. He's then put his Frostfangs irritatingly right in front of my stuff. And he's coming to the gargoyles with his Draugr. You can see where they are there. He's kindly put a template because otherwise he would knock off my wings. So there we go. So the Lord of Frostfang only does 2 damage. Oh, no, that's not that. I know what that is. That is a lightning bolt from the sorceress lady, who's up there, whatever she's called, onto my Soulbane and wavers him with a very high roll on only 2 damage. Boo! Anyway, obviously Dan dies, and then he's created a bottleneck for himself, and it's 5 damage onto my butchers, and they're okay. Oh, he also sends, sorry, not just the Draugr, Magnild goes into the gargoyles as well, and they die. Right, so now we look like this. I've got things to think about. So what do? I've got, the bottleneck is working here. Okay, so I'm holding that stuff off, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 units I can continually throw into this bottleneck. That's good, but I need to sort this out. Alright. If you look, there is a nice demon-sized space here, and no line of sight. So that's what I'm going to do for turn 3. So I continue with this. I send the butchers into the fallen. So I withdrew an inch and charged across because they were quite far across like this. Oops, let's start again. So we were like where that is. So by withdrawing an inch, I can then turn and charge. I could, anyway, trust me. And then I sent the impalers in, so just creating this nice barricade. I tried to move the car. Stop shooting me! To hide behind a house. It doesn't work. I send. So the sorceress was here originally, I think. So I left her there. I think, was that right? Anyway, it was I thought it was clever. No, that's right. So I charged the Pathfinder horses first here, right? Without moving the sharpness horses. That means I end up like that, right? That allows me to charge the sharpness horses past into the Draugr. I've moved these guys up to be nice and threatening. Yes. Sharpness horses went to Draugr. Demon, as I discussed previously, went into this Mounted Suns up here. And unfortunately, due to positioning error, can't be seen. Magnild can see him, obviously because she's an individual, but the really punchy stuff can't. So we do 1 whole point of damage to the Fallen with these butchers, 6 points of damage with the impalers onto the Lord of Frostfang, which is good. Demon does 4 points of damage and manages a waver, which is very lucky because it means that he might actually survive this. Not lucky, really. Unlucky. And the Draugr die, so we're facing here. So basically we are now... I think... Oh, that's right. So I flank... The Lord of Frostfang has a flank, but he can't fit, right? Which sucks for him. Magnild can charge, and the Fallen can charge me. Not Fallen. Oh, the Mounted Suns can't even see me, can they? Because this is a wood. This is a wood. Imagine trees. So there you go, some nice positioning, and we kill the dogs here, and we turn like yay. So obviously we've still got Jan here facing my rear, so she can get a flank on with these horses. And I turn the Pathfinder horses, so she's got a front there, and again I'm presenting my flank to this Lord and the Mounted Suns, but they can't charge because the butchers are in the way. Got it? Great. So then on the counter charge, both the trolls and the Fallen, so he's obviously trying to clear the blockage he's created for himself, going to the butchers. And the Lord of Frostfang countercharges the impalers. He bloody can't quite get out of line of sight. He continues to lightning bolt my gargoyles, but thinking about it, that's a very expensive unit to be spending 3 rounds shooting gargoyles. Wavered again. They keep regenerating. So he takes the flank with Jan onto my sharpness horses. He simply turns his Lord and Frostfang, and he takes this charge with the elite horses onto my butchers. Magnield comes, so Magnield I think she's ran to basically hold up my horses, my Pathfinder horses, one more turn. So that is Butcher's dead. They were there, they're not there anymore. So now these guys are starting to punch through. I need to bring some more units through to hold them up. Only a waver, that's bad, isn't it? From the Mounted Sons onto these Butchers. 7 points of damage and only a waver. Bad times. Jan does 7 points of damage onto the Sharpness horses and doesn't even waver them, which is horrifically bad news because these guys are stuck here and the other horses are facing this way. You're going to get Sharpness flanked. Turn 4. So here we are. Oh, that's the battlefield so you can see. So Jan didn't manage to waver these guys. They're going to flank here. The demon has a reasonable chance of finishing off these horses. If not, he's going to get flanked. Unfortunately, my Gargoyles are waver. They can't do anything. I have got a Soulbane here. I have got these Impalers here as well. So we can still continue Operation Bung. Right, which I do. So you can see, because of the way he's charged and all the adjacencies of my Butchers, I've actually got a flank on the Lord and Frostfang, which I take because it puts me in a great position to then reposition, in my blocking position. I don't send the Soulbane now, I just hold him back here for a while for the Dread. And I take the flank with the Sharpness horses, and I countercharge Magnield. Magnield only did 3 wounds, which is rubbish. What are you doing, Magnield? Useless. Of course, I've got Fury, so I countercharge with the Butchers as well. And then I bring in these Impalers round, ready to be the next wave of blocking up here. We countercharge with the Demon. Need this to work, because otherwise I'm going to get squashed. That is a Drain Life. So I Drain Life spectacularly well. So I've got 2 Drain Lifers here onto the Fallen. They start with 7 wounds. By the end of it, they've got 2. So 5 wounds drained. And there they are, the 5 wounds. Good rolling. I am very lucky this game. So I managed to kill the Lord and Frostfang and then reposition like this. And I managed to kill the Mounted Sons as well and reposition like this. So basically I have got, I think it's a flank from Jan. Yeah, it's a flank from Jan. I don't really care. But a front from Lord and Frostfang because I really do care about that. We also kill Magnield on the counter charge, which is nice. And then in Elliot's turn, so I don't do... Oh, that's right, yes, I didn't do any damage. So he just... I get flanked by trolls in front by Fallen, so these Impalers are almost certainly for the chop. Oh, and she finally manages, that sorceress, to lightning bolt off my Gargoyles on turn 4. Poor Elliot, he did not have a good game. So yeah, there we go. Absolute tons of damage going on here. And what he does over here is he flies Jan. He doesn't take the flank. He just sends a Lord in Frostfang. He realises he needs to clear this blockage. So Jan is coming over to do that. So there's a nice blind spot here. So all the lines of sight are like that. So very nicely spotted blind spot for Jan to fly into there. It's a lot of damage, guys. Well, I think it was like 24 damage and a double one. A double one. The worst possible time. Oh look, you can see my banner that I painted. Do you like it? I actually made that banner, handmade those little tassels and everything. Anyway, double one. Bad times. He'd always use his reroll as well. There was a tournament reroll every game, and he'd used it earlier in the game. Bad times. Turn 5, so disaster for the Varangur. I've cleared out the right hand side of the board where don't forget all the tokens are. 1, 2, 3, 4 tokens. Right? He spent all this time grinding over this one, and to add insult to injury, he's got a double 1. He has been holding some snow foxes back to come over here and jump on this token as well, by the way. But at this point, it's looking rather disastrous, particularly with that double 1, because now it's just flanked down, isn't it? And so we take them. So these guys and these guys come in to flank the trolls. We countercharge with the devastated impalers onto the fallen. A noble last stand. We send the sharpness horses into the back of the Lord on Frostfang, and we countercharge the demon. So he didn't manage to kill him. 7 wounds is respectable, but not enough. And I've put these Pathfinder horses up onto the hill because there's a token there. I get a Bane Chant off just to make it worse, and we evaporate the trolls. Turn the butchers to face Jan. Impalers are safe. 3 wounds there from the devastated guys onto the fallen. It really doesn't matter. Lord and Frostfang also dies. Apologies for blurry photograph. And I turn like this because if I go 8 here, I can get the token on the hill, and if I go 8 here, I can get the token down there, just in case. Yeah, so that's how we look. That's the damage that the fallen extra damage. We stopped counting. I've got to be honest. I just thought I'd see how many dice I could pile up because it was another double 1. It was a second double 1 on these impalers. It's spectacularly cinematic, and it's really not relevant because I would have won anyway at this point. But just, hilarious. Poor Elliot. Poor Elliot. What a game. So yeah. Jan comes in as well. At this point, it's just honour. They need to die. So they don't. It was obviously huge damage under 1. So we send the impalers into the flank of Jan. Devastated guys coming in here. He's even given up on this token with his little snow foxes and come in just like they have to die. So yeah, up they come. Oh, so that's Jan dying. So Jan's dead. Sorry, Jan. He's rolling the nerve check, the final nerve check. He does kill them. They do die, and that's the end of the game. So another very good victory. I think I got. I think it was an 18. The end of that one. Elliot was very sporting, given he had 2 double 1s in a row, but I'd managed to hold him off long enough as it was. So yeah, very good game. Went very smoothly. Elliot's just the nicest person in the world. Cool. So that takes me on to game 5 when I'm on the top table. And we roll into game 5. So this time I'm on the top table against James with his Elves. It's worth noting, James has been on the top table since game 2. So he's clearly doing very well with this list. Let's take a look at it. So it is a kind of a piecemeal grab bag of every elf unit. So there is a Horde of Tall Spears with a Hammer of Measured Force, Palace Guard with Chalice of Wrath, Gladestalkers Regiment, a Sea Guard Regiment with the Scrying Gem, Silver Breeze Troop, Horde of Draken Riders with a Staying Stone, an Elven King on a horse, 2 Archmages, one with the Boomstick and one with Inspiring Talisman and Bane Chant. I think that's how Archmages come in the elf list. If you just go into Easy Army, they're automatically loaded. And then a Dragon. Because why not? And he's taken Jan to be an extra flyer. Now, it's rare, I would say, at the moment, to face a ranged list in the UK. I know that different parts of the world are very different, but most people in the UK are not running ranged lists, particularly of this type, which is quite a cunning. So a lot of the shooting here is reasonably high quality shooting, particularly those mages, and it's very difficult to pick apart because there's so many pieces. Right? You've got Gladestalkers who shoot well, Therenian Sea Guard who shoot alright, Silverbreeze Cavalry who shoot well, 2 Archmages who both shoot well. So that's 5 shooting units. You can't really pick those apart too well. And he's got 2 fast elements, 3 fast elements if you count Jan, 4 if you count the King, and then he's got an absolute ton of nerve in those 2 hordes, which are difficult to remove. So I knew coming into this, so 4-Foot Snake is a hobby tournament, and hobby scores count. It's the only tournament in the UK where hobby scores count. I knew because my hobby was good that I needed a high scoring draw to win the tournament. I needed about a 13, right, to win this tournament. I know James's battle was better than mine, but my hobby was better than his. So, and I don't think if you win 4 games, you don't get a lot of sports points. So so I just need a 13-point draw. The problem is I can't stand back in this because if it's going to be a draw, I need to kill quite a lot, right? So let's look at the battlefield. So again, I can't remember who puts what where, but I went with my standard wall in the middle, because I love a wall in the middle. Give people a hindrance. And then I knew he had all this ranged, so I put as many, so that's difficult terrain. That's woods. That's woods. That's a hill, right? And that's a hill. So I put as much as possible across the middle to foil as much as possible with shooting, because I've got 2 stealthy units and a defense 6, none of which his shooting is going to be able to touch terribly well, apart from the lightning bolt. And then these are the houses here and here. Okay, so I think he chose sides, I think. And so this is how he deployed. So I deployed in my normal way. So the scenario is control. This is the one where you have 6 segments of the board, right? Each is worth 1 if you control it at the end of the game. Your opponent's half is worth 2. So this one is worth 2 to me. Yeah, it's tricky. This was a very tricky match for me to work out. I spent the entire lunchtime trying to work out how to beat dwarves because I thought I was going to face a dwarf list. But it turns out I didn't have many points, so I was facing an elf list. Anyway. So I'm mainly concerned about neutralising the flyers. Neutralising the flyers and then closing in. Getting across the board as quickly as possible. If you stand back with a ranged list, you're just going to let them shoot you off. You have to get across the board as quickly as possible. So one thing I did do, which I was pleased about, his phalanx stuff. That's his tall spears, and that's his sea guard. All on the right-hand side. So I feinted with my sorceress over here to get him to put some stuff down there, because she's a mobile unit, and it looks like she goes with horses. And I then put all my horses on the other side and my flyer too, because I don't want to get phalanxed, particularly in terrain. All right. So this is my normal block of melee stuff, and then this is the fast flank on this side. So my intention, as normal, is push forward and take all the shots of my stealthy stuff, and then come in and smash face on this side as quickly as possible. All right. So utilising the chapter I've got. Let's see how it works. So there's his sea guard. That's his king. This is an old dark elf army. These are tall spears. Oops. And silver breeze in the front there. So I've got no shooting for him to worry about. These are the Glade Stalkers. And then Dracons with the 2 mages in front. So notice he's deployed slightly back from the line, but he's measuring to try and get lightning bolts in. Alright. Then over here we've got Palace Guard. That's Jan, sitting in the woods. And right on the left hand side, the correct place to put a dragon. Alright. And so then I've just shown you what my stuff is, but there's just some more pictures of it if you want to look at my army. Nice. If I say so myself. And right on the side, there's a weird side view of my crone hiding behind woods or whatever it is. It's not woods, it's a difficult terrain. So I get first turn, which is great for me because I want to push forward as fast as possible. And so I do so. And I make the same mistake again because I'm dumb on the left hand side. Imagine lines of sight. Don't count 20. 20 in turn. I think I do anyway. No, actually, we'll see. But I think I made the same mistake again. So I'm conscious the dragon's coming down here. Everything else is going to push forward. This is 20 inches. Right? I've got my gargoyles ready to go. What I don't think about, which I really should think about, is these bad boys with all of their deadly elite lightning bolt. Who's he going to target with that? Defense 6? Nuh-uh. Chaff? Maybe. Nuh-uh. Flyer? Absolutely yes. The one unit he's worried about. So, need to think about that. And I push forward with everything else, and I push down as far forward as possible because I want you to shoot him. Okay, so she's showing that side. So in response, he moves backwards. He literally backs off and shoots, which is, the way to use this list very, very effectively. Everything backs off. Mages come forward, ready to lightning bolt as discussed. And that's my charge range for my demon. He comes up with a dragon. Okay, just be offering down that flank. Turn 2. Oh, so it's worth he did 1 point of damage with all this shooting onto Dan. So I was right. And look at that. 5 points of damage from lightning bolt onto the demon first turn. Ouch. Ouch, that's incredibly bad. So I've got a dragon off here. So what I do is I use the house. You can see the back of the house is right along here. Okay, and I've got my Soulbane here. I'm just out. So essentially he can't charge this unit. He can charge my Soulbane, but he's not going to kill him. And then I can counter-charge and lock him down. So I'm like, this is a little trap that he doesn't take. Can't charge here. Can't charge here. Alright, so this is a nice barrier. I then push my gargoyles in front of my horses, because I don't want the dragons to come thundering in and take them out in a turn, which they probably would. I do want you to charge here. I do want you to charge here. Okay, so again, I've got stealthy, stealthy, defense 6, don't care if it dies. Right, and I'm getting within range of charging. So, and I'm hiding my crane behind the woods here, and I'm hiding my gargoyles behind the woods here, and these guys are unit strength trying to pick something up at the end of the game. I don't know why I've got a photograph of his palace guard, but oh, I know why. Because I fireballed with my demon and did 0 damage. Useless. Oh no, 2 damage. Look at that. 2 damage. That's hiding behind a dark elf. Nice. Or an elf, actual elf. So in response, he does a clever thing, which is he moves his dragon up to just within 12 inches of the demon and out of 12 inches of the Soulbane, so he can fireball my demon and the Soulbane can't charge him. So that is poor positioning from me. If I'd have had my Soulbane a little bit further forward, it would have been better. But essentially what he's doing is threatening down the back of my lines. I'm not overly concerned because I'm not planning on being here next turn. Let's see if that works out. And there is a double 1 for some reason. I can't remember what. Oh, maybe it's just some dice lying around. I think it's double 1. So what he's done is he's backed up everything again. So the king has come over and back like that, facing that way. Everything else is backed up and he's continuing to lightning bolt and shoot. And then Jan has come in to chaff up my sharpness horses. So the sharpness horses here, Jan comes in there. So she's being used as mobile chaff, which is really the best way to use her, I think. These guys are going to be shot off. He's going to be more lightning bolt. It only leaves me 1 fast unit, and you don't want to go in with 1 fast unit because he's moved his dracons back to here, so they're out of the range. So good play. Very good play. Yeah. Okay, so there it is. You see the gargoyles are already dead with 5 damage on them. And then everything else over here has backed up a little bit. Whoa, that's exciting. And we can see that Jan used her blast defense and did 6 points of damage onto my sharpness horses, but they're okay. Demon is up to 7. He's still okay, but not particularly happy about being continually roasted. Turn 3. So I do an old trick. So it's kind of interesting, and this is really just you know how nice a player James is as well. There's a wall underneath my. I can't show it. Well, let's go back a long, long way to show it. Right, there's a wall here, which was very wobbly, and stuff kept falling off because we were putting models in front of it and things. Where the demon shifted back. You can see the back of his base is right at the back of the house here. By the time it came to my turn, he was like this. So what I wanted to do was to fly over the back of the palace guard and turn. Right, 20-inch fly and turn. Where he was, I couldn't make it. But then we realised, I said, oh, actually, look, he's moved because he was in line with the house, and James was absolutely great about that and said, yeah, no, you can do it. So I did. Because what I wanted to do was to fly over where that tape measure is, actually. And I did that. So I went well over to there and faced this way, which is bad news. Now, he can king me, right? But it means he's got a demon in his backyard. A demon on 7 wounds, though. Very poor, and I'm not within range to drain life. So I have shot the other gargoyles over to protect the flank of these guys. And I've gone into the double charged into Jan to get rid of her because I need to be aware of that dragon back there. These guys have all shuffled forwards. Dan has gone right in. I've thrown him in again as chaff into these glade stalkers so that I can bring everything forward. These guys are here saying, shoot me, we're stealthy. And these guys have come forward as far as they can, ready to follow up. All right. Some drain life going on, try and get some healing going. So that is us obliterating Jan, and then I turn like, yes, no, right, so you can't quite see, but I turn, I make a mistake, another mistake. I turn like this, so ignore the fact the dragon's in the flank. I turn to face, because I'd measured this front to stop these guys coming in. I forgot about the dragon. So I remembered for these guys, look, you're in the front of them, go on. I wanted the hindered charge from the dragon into these guys. Nuh-uh. Instead I get an unhindered flank onto my other horses from a dragon, an elf dragon. Bad news. And as predicted, the king comes into my demon. And over here where I think I wavered the Gladestalkers, who back off as far as they can, which allows his tall spears to flank Dark Lord Dan. Okay. You can see 0 damage from the shooting. Oh, 2 damage. I'm so sorry. What a liar I am. So then 2 damage from all the shooting onto a stealthy unit. What? Don't care. A couple of lightning bolts go into the gargoyles that were here. Get rid of them. And yeah, a dragon in the flank. Yeah, no one. Yeah, not good. Poof, goes away. Dan dies as well. Turn 4. So at this point, oh, and there you go. 9 points of damage from the king. So an extra 2 points of damage. The king only did 2 points of damage, and the demon survived it. So that you can see the nerve roll there are a 5. So I'm all right. And if you're interested in my life, the dog is back. He's brought a ball for me to play with. I don't want to play with you. I'm doing a thing. So, king goes to demon. Demon survives it. Great news. And then we take the horses into the dragon, who has turned to face them. Like, yay. And I drain life as well to try and heal some of this damage back, which I manage. And then, so the butchers on the right-hand side. So the Soulbane, once again, goes into a horde. And this is a huge mistake. I should have walked up and stood an inch away, because he's mighty anyway. So actually what I've done is given them an unhindered charge. I should be here and invited a hindered charge. So they can't get past me. They're massive. So several mistakes in a row here. Butchers go into the Gladestalkers to try and finish them off. And you can see the line of sight for the Dracons means that we're safe. And then I send a double charge really. And I put my crone here so that it's an unhindered Impaler charge and an unhindered Butcher charge into these tall spears. And the other guys come up back there. So this is the best bit for me of the game. Demon plows through the king, overruns into the flank of the Dracons and kills them as well. So I cleared out both units in one go. Devastating. Alrighty. Unfortunately, there are 2 lightning bolt mages who can just finish him off next turn. But no, whatever. So we managed 10 damage from the horses. It is hindered, you see, even though they sharpened his horses into the dragon. Not enough. Couldn't roll that 9 twice. Even worse, 9 damage from all of this. So drain life plus impalers plus butchers on the tall spears. Definitely not enough. 5 damage for the charge. I mean, he did 5 out of 5, which is great, but unnecessary. I think the butchers didn't kill off those Gladestalkers. Maybe they did. Who knows? So in James's turn, he shoots his Sea Guard down there to try and get a table corner. Not sure he's going to need it. And then he moves his sorcerers out to lightning bolt the demon off. And you notice the Silver Breeze have come up to do the same thing. Everything else counter charges. Counter charge, counter charge, counter charge. Puts him up to 12 and wavers him. Boo! So he's wavered my demon. That's not good. And he kills my horses. That's not good. And he kills my impalers. That's not good either. And he kills my Soulbane. So at this point, my army just starts evaporating. Where's my army? I think I forgot to take. Did I take turn dice? I did forget to take turn dice. Turn 5 now. Turn 5. So I move my crone behind to try and get rid of the dragon with a handed drain. I need that to work. The other impalers come in. Into charge this time because I've got nothing to stop them. I had to fly the crone back here before inspiring all around. Butchers go back in again. He's wavered, so he just sits there like a lump. We kill the Gladestalkers. Yay! We do 17 points of damage total onto the tall spears, and I roll a 3. There are 21, 23. Yeah. So, dragon in the rear. Tall spears countercharge butchers. Palace guard coming to other butchers. We're going to lightning bolt here. You can see how this is going. That's the demon. He's dead. Hey guys, where's my army? Where's it gone? It's everything died apart from my crones. That's what it looks like. Crone. Where's the rest of my army? It's dead. Turn 6. So at this point, don't forget, kills matter. I need to get 13 points. I'm not going to get 13 points. Our loss is 3. So we drain from this crone onto the tall spears. We kill him. We drain from this crone onto the dragon. We don't kill him. 12 damage. He wavers the flying crone with some shooting. Turn 7 rolls around. He hasn't wavered this crone. We drain the dragon and we kill it. Yay! So in the last 2 turns, I did get a horde of tall spears and a dragon, which is a lot of kill points. However, that's the only miniature that I have left on the table because he kills the other crone. So this crone cries off into a corner on her own. And that is the end of the tournament. So there we go. I ended up second. And as a very nice sweetener, I got the best Dan for my Harley Stalker Dark Lord Dan model, which I gave to Dan at the end because it's got a picture of his actual family on it, and it's not something I can really hang on to. I'm very happy to give it to him since he's a cool dude. So yeah, I actually I was 4 points short of first place. First place was snatched by Elliot Morris that I beat in round 4. So there you go. This being a soft scores tournament, you see. So James obviously finished top in battle because he won 5 out of 5. And that's all very well. I actually think I finished 5th in battle in the end. It was very, very tight at the top. I think it was 4 to 6 points between the top 5 or so places. Really, really close. So let's have a look at some of the armies while I talk about what I thought of the tournament. So I've never been to this specific tournament before. For those of you who aren't in the UK, this is the only tournament that includes soft scores in it. All of the other tournaments in the UK are battle only. They will have a separate painting award. However, battle is unimportant. Sorry, battle is all important. Soft scores are irrelevant for the overall score. This is the only one. There was a bit of a furore, a bit of a ruckus, because towards our Masters ranking is the overall ranking. So my second place went towards my Masters ranking, whereas I was expecting like my 5th place would go towards the Masters ranking. But I think that's going to change next year. But anyway, I don't really care. I'm very happy that there's a tournament that includes soft scores because, as you can see, the standard of armies was very, very high. I mean, extremely high. It was just, army after beautiful army. And it matters sometimes that you want to be sitting across from something that isn't, gross. Look at these. These are just great. I think, what else do I think? It was incredibly well organised. Big thanks to the organisers. It went so smoothly. It even finished early, which is unheard of. There was, very few problems. That's the top winning army. You would have seen, if you're on Facebook, many photographs. Oh, there's mine, of Chris Walsh's beautiful army. But I got quite a few hobby points as well, which I'm really pleased about. I really liked dot deployment as a concept. I think it's probably not very newbie friendly, certainly what some people have said, and I kind of agree. If you are experienced at the game, it is a great tool. I think I wouldn't have achieved what I did without it, potentially, depending on the table I was on. So that's something to be conscious of, but I really enjoyed dot deployment. It added an extra bit of tactics to the game. I think my army performed very well. Obviously now I've told you all how it works. If anyone plays me, you know exactly what to do to beat it. And I'm considering whether I take it to Clash of Kings. I've got my orcs to paint, but I've only painted 3. They're my test models next to me, so I know what I want to do. It's whether I can get them done in 4 or 5 weeks, whether I want to play them, or whether I wheel out the rats. I can add a horde of tall spears. It's 2,300 at Clash of Kings, so I can add a horde of tall spears and mount the Soulbane to make my army to get rid of that flyer problem that I have. You saw in James's game. But otherwise it went very well. I had 5 brilliant opponents that I very much enjoyed playing. There wasn't any problems. Everyone was extremely good at sportsmanship and being sporting and allowing people to take backs and so on and so forth, which I needed more than the average person because I suck. Well, I hope you enjoyed this report, and let's look forward to another one in about 4 or 5 weeks when I go to Clash of Kings. And on that note, much love. See you later.